Welcome to episode 1 of What Makes the Eastern Free State Lekker. Our aim with this series is to showcase our majestic region and its wonderfully hospitable people. This episode is an updated version because the original version of episode 1 was published over 2 years ago and some places have changed in the meantime. I've broken down this episode into 3 parts because there is so much to show. What Makes the Eastern Free State Lekker has been so successful that we even won a silver award at the International Tourism Film Festival for Africa, and we regularly receive messages from all over South Africa by people who now visit our region because they've been watching this series. You can see detail of all the places as well as all the other episodes that we featured on our website lekkerfreestate.co.za. Because this is an updated episode, you'll notice that I often jump between seasons and even timelines during the episode. We start in the town of Senekal, where I've been living for the past 3.5 years. Senekal is situated on the N5 National Road halfway between the towns of Wynberg and Bethlehem, which means that you can drive here from Joburg, Cape Town or Durban without encountering any potholes. More about potholes later in this episode. The main feature in the middle of town is this beautiful sandstone church that was built in 1896. A heritage trust was recently formed that bought and have been renovating the church. Daar's soveel geskiedenis opgesluit in hierdie pragtige kerk. During the Anglo-Boer War, this church was used as a hospital where Boer women treated the injured British soldiers after the British was defeated at the Battle of Bedelsburg just outside Senekal. The local schools are still strong and sport forms an important part of the schools and community. The golf, tennis and squash clubs are well supported and the bowls club is still very active. We have a wonderful group of volunteers making sure the Senekal Park Run takes place every Saturday morning at the golf club. The local archery club, under the capable leadership of Erns van Rensburg and Gert Jacobs, is very strong and they have both outdoor and indoor facilities in Senekal. I love cycling and there are a few options on the road and mountain bike when you cycle from Senekal. The Senekal district is one of the largest producers of sunflower in South Africa, and at the right time of year we are surrounded by sunflower fields. Die Senekalse landbouskou bestaan al sedert 1906 en is nog sommer lekker aktief. Ons skou en kuier elke jaar in April maand en menige groot musikante was al hier. People often ask me, what the heck are you doing in Senekal? Well, I moved here 3.5 years ago after living in Cape Town for 20 years with a twofold mission. Wearing the one hat, I've been part of a team of volunteers rejuvenating the town and region. Wearing the second hat, I want to establish a new film industry in the Eastern Free State. I have 24 years of experience in the film industry as producer, director and distributor, during which time I produced 5 feature films, 4 documentaries, many corporate videos and published 6 books. My most successful film remains Faith Like Potatoes, that has now been seen by more than 500 million people in 17 languages. It takes a very large budget to produce a film or television series. I wrote the screenplay just over 5 years ago about an epic true gladiator story that took place in the Colosseum in 5th century Rome, featuring a priest by the name of Telemachus. And I realized that if I could use this budget to produce the gladiator story to establish a new film industry in a small town, then it would greatly help with economic growth in that town. I started praying about which town I should move to, and shortly after that a young farm manager called Brendan Horner was brutally murdered near Senekal. In the aftermath, confrontation between the farmers and the EFF seemed imminent. Brendan was one of many farmers murdered during that same time, and there was every chance of small-scale civil war breaking out. Miraculously, instead of fighting, leaders in the town decided to take hands and the Senekal Matuabeng Community Forum was formed as a non-political organization with a purpose to join hands between black and white in order to rejuvenate the town. I moved here on the first day that work started and we've been so successful with our work that we are regularly featured on national media. We also work hand in hand with the executive mayor and municipal manager. The highlight so far has been fixing the town's swimming pool after it was closed for 33 years and became a drug-dealing, crime-infested rubbish dump. The schools in Senekal had their first swimming gala in 33 years. We've purchased half of the old Sasco mill that was abandoned for 25 years and started renovations in June 2022. Our half of the property is massive with over 10,000 square meters under roof and more than that outdoors. We have already been hosting live events, as you can see in the footage. Sasco is owned by PepsiCo, and they were not willing to sell the property to an agricultural company. However, because my purpose was to convert the property into a film studio and events venue, they were willing to sell it to me on condition that no maize or wheat will ever be stored here again. I was able to get permission though from Sasco to allow a local Senekal-based company to use the old silos for sunflower and to open a sunflower oil press, which further helps with job creation in town. One of the largest and oldest companies in Senekal is Oranje Print and Packaging. This company is over 100 years old and is not only one of South Africa's largest printers, but they also produce much of our country's paper straws and cups. They supply companies like Woolworths, KFC and Lavazza. Die besturende direkteur Wimpie Houpfleisch is een van my beste vriende en ek dink hy is een van die mees vrygewige mense wat ek ken. Sonder hom sal die dorp 'n baie armer plek wees. If you need new tires, then Senekal Bande is the right place for good prices and great service. Owner Dries Oberholzer is a farmer in the district, and like so many other people that I mentioned, all of their family play a major role in the community, schools and rugby club. If you want a meal, we have a few different options. Die Potstal is situated as you drive into town from the Bethlehem side. The owners, Johan and Sari, take great care to ensure that the food is excellent, and because Johan is so creative and handy, they constantly improve this already beautiful and peaceful place. En hulle biltong is sommer baie lekker. They also own a guesthouse and caravan park called Ober Ammergau, and like the Potstal, Johan's excellent handiwork is seen in the finishing touches of this place. If you're a coffee snob like me, look no further than the lounge at Henderson's. Owners Arends and Leanne are also good friends of mine, and they renovated this old pre-primary school that was nicknamed Die Pink School into a fantastic coffee shop and guesthouse. Arends is our town's local coffee roaster, and Leanne serves on many of the committees in town. This couple makes a huge difference in our town. One of my good friends, Renee McLean, owns the Wimpie in Senekal. They recently renovated the place and their service is excellent. The Wimpie is situated on the N5 with plenty of parking right next to it. One of the places that embodies the Lekker of Senekal is Senekal Self-Catering. Situated on the N5 with easy access, good security, comfort and excellent service. Their chalets are spaced apart for more privacy. Ek het 'n paar maande hier gebly toe ek oorspronklik Senekal toe getrek het, en sommer baie goeie vriende geraak met die eienaars Derek en Sonet Thompson. Ons het sommer al baie lekker hier gekuier saam met hulle twee en vriende van hulle, Stefan en Klitsgras. Sy is ook bekend aan haar ouers as Monique. Fairway Guesthouse is situated in the lush Bell Street next to the golf course. The owner Esme has great taste and the entire establishment is very well maintained. You have many options for luxurious rooms. And you can have your breakfast and or dinner here. Another beautiful place in Bell Street is Villa Bell. The owner Gert Brits designed and built this house himself, and he specializes in medium and long-term accommodation, but also have some short-stay rooms available. There are many rooms to choose from at this beautiful place. Arizona is an events venue on a working farm about 19 kilometers outside Senekal. They mostly host weddings, and one of the annual events at Arizona is a hunting competition that is a fundraiser for the Senekal Primary School and Pre-Primary School. When you drive from Senekal to Paulroo on the N5, you pass Beadlesburg that peaks higher than 2,000 meters above sea level. Oom Borrie Erasmus het 'n pragtige boeremuseum op die plaas, en dit was hier waar die boere die Engelse verslaan het in die slag van Beadlesburg. We hiked up here with a German friend who did not realize that tights and kakibos are not a good combination. She looked like a porcupine afterwards and really struggled to clean her tights. There's a huge difference between summertime and wintertime in the Free State. During summertime, after rains, when the rivers are flowing and the grass is green, it's just absolutely stunningly beautiful, and I'm running out of words again to describe it. My English vocabulary is just not big enough. Paulroo is one of the last remaining sandstone villages in South Africa, and it's also the start and finish of the 210-kilometer Sungazer pilgrimage that we feature in episodes 2 and 3. Paulroo is sommer 'n baie lekker gemeenskap wat hande gevat het om onlangs 'n museum oop te maak waar mens meestal boere memorabilia kan besigtig. Die paar keer wat ons dit al besoek het, was sommer groot pret geweest en daar's heerlike kos te koop. Meestal natuurlik boerekos. The Eastern Free State have a large number of luxurious hunting farms, and Wittkop Safaris is one of the best of them, attracting many overseas visitors every year. Jess de Klerk is ook baie betrokke in die gemeenskap, nie net in Senekal nie, maar ook in Paulroo, en hy is die mede-eienaar en bestuurder van die plaas. lined with sunflowers. Absolutely beautiful. Look at this green grass. We've had lots of rain. Apparently there's more sunflower in the Eastern Free State than any other part of South Africa. Absolutely beautiful this time of the year, and the sunflower's not even at its best yet. I'm not stopping here today, but 10 kilometers outside Markwart is Sparta, the second largest cattle farm in South Africa. At any given time they own more than 100,000 cattle and employ over 1,200 people. They make a huge contribution towards the community work that is done in our district. Markwart het 'n baie indrukwekkende aftreeoord en as jy 'n heerlike geel vetbiltong soek, is Flipstryd om sy slaghuis net die plek. My only stop in Markwart today is at the golf club, where I managed to get a few quick shots of a school friend of mine, Tinus Potgieter. Ons het 2 Tinus Potgieters in ons klas gehad, Blindepot en Blondepot. Hierdie is Blondepot, maar op ons ouderdom is hy nou Gryspot. I recently filmed this fundraiser golf day at the Markwart golf course. It was great fun. Remember, this was filmed in the middle of winter. The golf course is usually lush green in the summer months. Now about the secondary roads in South Africa. Unfortunately, the Eastern Free State is no exception, and some of our tar roads are in shocking condition, like this road between Markwart and Klokkelaan, where there is almost no more tar left. My suggestion is that you slow down, take a deep breath, and focus on the surrounding beauty instead of the potholes. You might even opt to take some of the dirt roads instead of the tar roads, and in so doing you will discover some more hidden gems, like Springwater cottages that you can only access by driving on dirt roads. This place, nestled in between mountains, is truly tranquil, and the owners, Thys and Karin, are amazing people. Ek het sommer dadelik vriende geraak toe ek hier afgeneem het. Just look at these options to stay in. You can relax, hike, or mountain bike when you stay here. The opposite side of the mountain from Springwater is one of my favorite places in South Africa, owned by some incredible people, the Groenewald family. Imla Nature Lodge and wedding venue offer so much, including a wedding venue, chapel, accommodation, food, adventure training for all ages, well-maintained mountain bike, enduro, 4x4 and hiking trails. The Groenewalds believe in stewardship, as is evident when you visit this 5th generation working farm. They also believe in doing your bit in the local community, and one of the many things they do is organizing an annual talent competition in town. This gives a wonderful opportunity for young and old to shine. Die jaarlikse Klokkelaan plaasfees is baie bekend vir die groot uitstalling van werkende antieke trekkers. The farms in the Klokkelaan district form part of the annual Cherry Festival or Kersiefees, and Constantia Farm and Farmstall are two amazing favorites of mine. The first Cherry Festival was held in 1967 and is South Africa's oldest crop festival, and it is always held in November when it is time for the cherry harvest. Due to the size of the Cherry Festival, it is now held over 2 weekends at many different venues. One of the events that was held a week earlier was the Cherry Jazz Festival, which attracts thousands of people every year that travel from all over South Africa and Lesotho to attend the concert. Ons eerste stop vandag is op Constantia Kersieplaas tussen Klokkelaan en Excelsior. Toergroepe word gewoonlik op hierdie wa na die boorde toe vervoer. Dit is absoluut heerlik. Jy net kan sien, dit is, ek weet nie of mense dit regtig op die kamera so mooi kan sien nie, maar hierdie kersies is ontsaglik groot. Dit is 'n fantastiese oes. Hierdie boord waar ons nou staan, was eintlik klaar gepluk gewees. En is al klaar verwerk en verpak. En dis nou die tweede keer wat hulle hier gaan inkom. En kyk net hoe hang die kersies hier, dis absoluut ongelooflik. Dit is 'n heerlike kersies. Ek het nog nie sulke groot gesien. Ek is nou nie 'n kersie ekspert nie, maar ek het nog nie sulke groot kersies gesien en dit proe absoluut heerlik. Ek dink ek gaan 'n boks moet saamvat van hier af. Van die boord af stap ons na die fabriek toe waar die kersies uitgesoek en verpak word. Kersies wat nie gekeer word om verpak te word nie, word gebruik vir 'n hele aantal fantastiese produkte. Onder andere my gunsteling, Lekker.
We welcome you to the tasting room of Constantia.
Constantia padstal is een van my gunsteling padstalle in die land en ek kom kuier sommer gereeld hier. Die vriendelike personeel het vandag hulle hande vol om almal te bedien en selfs eienares Gwyneth Higo hardloop maar lekker rond. Daar's letterlik duisende produkte te koop, maar uiteindelik bevind ek my maar weer by die plek waar mens produkte kan proe. Wat is jou naam?
Marius.
Waar is julle vandaan?
Zeerust.
Kyk, proe bietjie op proe hierdie. Sê vir my of hy goed werk.
Kijk, wat is dit nou? Wat is jou naam?
Dis Lekker.
Lekker, daar's hy gat uit.
As jy baie fout met dan.
Dit is baie lekker. Proe die kersie.
Lekker, né? Sal ons die mampoer probeer? Daai mampoer het sommer lekker geskop. En nou is ons gereed vir vanaand se vermaak. Incredibly, just a few kilometers down the road towards Ladybrand is another absolutely amazing farm stall called The Cabin. Ernay Darrow recently purchased the cabin, and I promise you that this is a must-visit place. Whether you want to eat, buy gifts, or simply enjoy a drink with family and friends.
Dit is 'n besonderse plek. Die groen, ek sê ons dit lyk soos die Kaap sonder 'n see. Ek dink die mense is ook besonder, maar die omgewing, ek dink is baie mooi.
Before we leave the Klokkelaan district, we visit Ben Nevis Cherry Cellar and Guest Farm, where we are treated by PJ, Liesel and Karina. You will notice that I mention the owners wherever I go, and the reason for that is the fact that it is as much the people of the Eastern Free State as it is the beauty of our region that makes it so wonderful. They have a wide variety of cherry products, and they make their own unique cherry wine. PJ explained to me how they make the wine.
Here at Ben Nevis, we make cherry wine. The same process that you make wine from grapes, we just do it with cherries. The whole process is the 100% cherry product. We're going to start tasting here the semi-sweet wine.
Hoe lekker is dit? Their accommodation is beautiful and I love the sandstone walls. Before we left, we even had time for a short hike up Ben Nevis Mountain, named after the highest mountain in Scotland, also called Ben Nevis, and that Ben Nevis in Scotland peaks out at 1,345 meters above sea level. A fun fact is that the entire Free State is higher above sea level than the highest peak of Ben Nevis in Scotland. The highest peak in the Free State is Mount Exorcus, which is also the highest peak in South Africa at 3,282 meters above sea level. We will climb and fill Mount Exorcus in a later episode. Then on to Vicksburg, the capital of our municipal region and famous for its annual Cherry Festival. Handmade with Love is a coffee shop and gift shop that specializes in handmade gifts. Owner Luzelle Bondhuizen has a team of people who make these gifts. They also have a great menu and lots of space to sit inside and outside. Jy sal regtig nie verkeerd gaan as jy hier stop vir 'n koffietjie, iets om te eet en om te kyk na al die pragtige dingetjies om te koop nie. Back onto the R26, now driving towards Fariesburg and Bethlehem. I do not stop here today, but I cannot help to mention two really incredible farms that are both must-visit places. Sandstone and Boschfontein are neighboring farms. Boschfontein is owned by a good friend of mine, Morgan Barrett, and his wife, Tony. We stayed in the hunting cabin on his farm on a few occasions, with its magnificent views over the Maluti Mountains and Lesotho. Hier kan jy jag, wild besigtig en hike. Morgan se geweerversameling is baie indrukwekkend en ek hoor sy oom Charles het selfs meer gewere. Ek het ook uitgevind, kleiteiken skiet is nie so maklik nie. Ons het sommer tot baie laat gebraai en gekuier toe ons hier was. Na al die reëns lyk die Oos-Vrystaat absoluut sprokies mooi en ek kon nie help om langs die pad te stop om hierdie plaastoneel af te neem nie. Sandstone is truly one of the most remarkable places in South Africa. Not only does it have the largest collection of working steam locomotives in the world, but there are a host of other things to see and do. First up, a train ride with a steam locomotive. Sandstone has their own private 30-kilometer-long railway line, using narrow gauge tracks in order to accommodate the classic steam locos. Berge daar in die agtergrond is almal binne Lesotho en in die winter is hulle dikwels spierwit met sneeu. Sandstone se eienaar Wilfred Maul is besonder trots op hulle span Afrikaners wat hierdie ossewaar trek. En daar's ook honderde ou militêre voertuie op die plaas. As I said, Sandstone has become famous for the many restored steam locos, and one can spend hours walking through hall after hall of antique engines, vehicles and motors. Hierdie saal is deel van die Landboumuseum. In hierdie saal is daar honderde werkende stoomengines. Every year in April, Sandstone hosts a steam festival. I filmed this footage earlier in the year, and as you can see by the yellow poplar leaves and fields of colorful cosmos flowers, it was an autumn time. Then I drove towards Vicksburg until I got to the Ionia cherry farm. Another one of my favorite places in the Free State. Ionia is owned by the same owners of the Voorheesburg Country Inn, Gilly and Renee Skippers. I start my visit here by tasting the cherry liqueur. There's only one really big problem with this cherry liqueur is you want to drink more and more and more. Absolutely beautiful. So nice. This one's called Ionia Cherry Liqueur Gold. Oh. And the problem with this one as well is that you're going to have to drink both of them. You can't just drink one of them. They're both amazing. I've been here often before and always stand amazed at the variety of different cherry products. Die koffie en die kos hier so is sommer baie lekker. It is my first visit to Ionia since the completion of their new function venue called The Cave. It is a truly remarkable venue, including a stage, and it can host over 1,000 people. This farm has become the main venue of the annual Cherry Festival of Vicksburg. I found that I had to stop so often on this road to take photos and videos because it's just one of the roads with the most majestic scenery. The combination of sandstone mountains, green grass and rivers makes this one of the most picturesque parts of South Africa. Next stop, Shumba Valley Lodge. Just look at these beautiful dirt roads that are quite a bit better than the tar road I've just turned away from. Shumba Valley Lodge is a really tranquil place. Lots of trees, green grass, and you can just breathe in the fresh countryside air. This farm is also unique because it has its own airstrip. At the moment it's a little bit overgrown because of the recent rain and they haven't been able to cut it short. They have 20 well-equipped caravan stands and also a variety of cottages varying in size and capacity. And breakfast is optional. Back on the main road, I head back towards Vicksburg before I turn right onto a dirt road that takes me over the Witteberge. Life's a climb, but the view is great. True, isn't it? How amazing is this view with the Maluti Mountains behind me This Eastern Free State is just absolutely magnificent, and I've actually driven over these mountains a few times. Never cycled here. I can't wait to actually cycle over here. But absolutely incredible. Look at this view, man. You just cannot get used to this. This is amazing. Whether it's summertime like today or wintertime, the view is great. You need I would say when it's wet, you need an SUV to get over here. A normal car would maybe struggle a little bit, but absolutely amazing. Really, really just wow. Next stop on top of the mountains, in Nebo Mountain Lodge. Absolutely moeite werd om 'n draai hier te maak by Nebo Mountain Lodge. Riekenriet is so gasvry. Absolutely amazing. It's part of the Sungazer hiking trail as well. That if you haven't done that and if you enjoy hiking, it is one of the major hikes in South Africa that you really have to do. It's grasgroen op die oomblik hier met al die reën. Kyk net hoe mooi is hierdie Sandsteen plaashuis en jy sal nie veel stiller en rustiger kry as Nebo Mountain Lodge nie. The owners encourage you to appreciate the peaceful farm lifestyle, and therefore you won't find any Wi-Fi or television in your rooms. But I promise you won't regret visiting this farm. The rooms are comfortable, the people hospitable, and the view is great. The road now takes me down the other side of the mountain towards the little town of Roosendaal. How stunning is this? I mean, I know so many of my friends around South Africa always joke about the Free State, and I always joke and say this is the promised land. But look, just look here. I mean, you can shoot a movie about Psalm 23 here. This looks like anything as green as Europe, even Ireland. Look how beautiful this is. This is just absolutely amazing. Dis die Vrystaat op sy mooiste en op sy beste. Grondpaaie. You can sing Take Me Home Country Roads all around you here. Versierskerf in die agtergrond. Nee, ek kan net nie genoeg vir mense verduidelik hoe mooi dit is nie. Hier's geen stadslawaai nie, niks nie. Die enigste dreising wat jy hierso hoor agter my is die rivier wat afkom. Ons het lekker reën op die oomblik in die Vrystaat. Die rivier kom hier agter my af. Ek neem aan hier's 'n waterval ook wat hier van die berg afkom. Stunning, isn't it? This little section of road is most probably my favorite road in South Africa. It is fairy tale pretty. And if you've never been here, you have to take a drive to come and see it for yourself. On the other side of that fairy tale forest is another truly impressive farm, Moelmanshoek. I've spent the last 2 days here on Moelmanshoek Private Game Reserve, halfway between Vicksburg and Roosendaal. And it's just one of the most incredible places you could ever visit. What makes it really special, I think, maybe in this order, the people, the venue, what you can do here, but then thirdly, the soil. And I'll explain a little bit later, but it's the restoration of the soil and the restoration of humankind, the restoration of who we are as people that make this place absolutely amazing. If there's one place that you absolutely must add to your hidden gem bucket list, then it is Moelmanshoek Private Game Reserve. There are 4 integral parts which make this farm exceptional: the fauna and flora, the lodge, the Leadership Development Center, as well as the Equestrian Center. Each one of these 4 parts are managed by a couple, all forming part of the Nell family who owns the farm. Although, as Patriarch Willie Nell explains, he does not see them as owners of the farm, but rather as stewards of Moelmanshoek. Willie and his wife Mimi manage the natural soil and the game on Moelmanshoek. Terwyl ek saam met Willie deur die plaas gery het, het hy my met groot passie verduidelik hoe hy met die rehabilitasie van die plaas begin het in 1973. Op daardie stadium was meeste van die bolaag van die grond sodanig beskadig dat die plaas geen wins kon maak nie. A personal transformation caused Willie to realize that he had to change the way they farmed. Profit was not the most important aspect of farming. Firstly, it should be about people. He realized that God made all people equal and they should be treated as equals. Secondly, it is about the earth or the planet. Are we preserving the planet for the next generation or are we destroying it? Lastly comes the business or the profit part of farming. Today, Moormanshoek is a shining example of organic farming where even university professors come to do research in order to share their learnings and support others in duplicating a similar process. This specific area was affected by extreme erosion, rendering the soil useless for farming before Willie planted new vegetation some 47 years ago. According to him, it has never needed any kind of fertilizer since then, and yet it has provided nutritious grazing year in and year out. We had some very heavy rains during my 2-day visit to Moormanshoek, which made it difficult to get everywhere. But just look at this breathtaking flight over a section that they call their own little Serengeti at Moormanshoek. I never knew that you get eland in such huge herds. This herd is made up of more than 200 eland. Peaking out at 2,410 meters above sea level, and you have to see the 360-degree view from the top. Marfi manages the lodge and restaurant. Here they do all kinds of events, but have become well known for the spectacular weddings they host here. The ceremony can be outdoors in a poplar or cedar grove, or in the beautiful sandstone chapel. The reception hall provides seating for up to 150 guests. The accommodation is luxurious and you can choose from rooms in the main lodge or in the rooms of the old stables now called the Mews. All the rooms have great views of the farm and the mountains. If asked, most wedding guests would agree that the most unforgettable part of the ceremony is when Wiesmann drives over 100 horses past the guests in a spectacular horse run. Nicholas and Isabel have a passion to train young people and they manage the Leadership Development Center. Here, young and old can book for team building, leadership training, skills development, or simply an adventurous time. Hiking, obstacle courses, abseiling, mountain biking, 4x4 trails, and many other activities are possible on and around Moormanshoek. Moormanshoek hosts the annual Four Peaks Mountain Marathon, one of the toughest trail runs in South Africa. Now, unfortunately, the 2024 Four Peaks was cancelled due to heavy snow and rain, but a few brave runners decided to do a shortened 16-kilometer panorama route. It was bitterly cold when I filmed this event, but boy, was it beautiful. Situated between Moormanshoek and Roosendaal is a farm called Mossemane, which is Sotho for meerkat. Again, I don't stop here today, but I've hiked here twice before, and I think this is my favorite hike in the whole of South Africa. The trail is well maintained and marked out. It requires a fair amount of fitness if you want to do the full 12 kilometers, but I promise you that every step is well worth it. The first part is next to a river with deep ground erosion. Then through a forest, before you ascend the sandstone cliffs. This hike is famous for the owl's eyes, two circular caves next to each other that looks like owl eyes. Then on to Roosendaal. The two roads into Roosendaal was under construction in October 2024 when I updated this episode. So the good news is that we will soon be able to access this quaint little town via good tar roads. So Roosendaal only has one tarred road and the rest are dirt roads, but it's such a nice place. The homes are far enough apart that you've actually got some nice privacy. Many of the homes here are off the grid, and it's just quite a creative place as well. Arty, many artists, and actually a lot of businessmen from Joburg live here now because they've realized you don't have to live in the city in order to run your business. First stop, the Roosendaal Country Retreat that was recently renovated, situated on the outskirts of Roosendaal. This place is also wow, and I just love the outdoor jacuzzi. They specialize in events, especially weddings, and because Roosendaal is a remote place, it means that your wedding will be a destination wedding, where all the guests can switch off from the city noise and have fun together. By now, Renee and I needed some coffee, and we went to the place with the best waffles in the world, die Handelshuis in Roosendaal. This place used to be known as Benjamin's, but owner Lila recently gave it a new look. The Roosendaal community is small and pretty much everybody know each other. A great place for a sundowner and good meal is the Service Station Wine Bar, where we find a group of friends that we know pretty well by now. One of the wonderful characters of Roosendaal is Yola. Her restaurant and theatre is called, well, Yola's. This is another example of a place that does well because the owner is part of the great service and atmosphere. I get emotional when I think of all the wonderful new friends that I've met since moving to the Eastern Free State. Vrystaaters is goeie mense, sout van die aarde, hardwerkend. En ons kan daarom ook pret hê wanneer ons kans kry. As the sun sets on the African horizon, it reminds me of Johannes Kerkorrel's song that was performed a while back at the Klipkerk in Senekal by Rudo Schoom and a small Matwabeng choir. And it feels good to be in Africa and the beautiful, lekker Eastern Free State.
Africa.